Hello, 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 and welcome to the Drag Race Rucap here on Reality TV RHAPups. I'm your host, Liana Boraas, and we are here to talk about the 5th episode of RuPaul's Drag Race Season 13. Now, we have a fabulous, fabulous panel here for you today. I can't even, sorry, regulars, we're introducing our special guest first. I just see her. She's popping off the screen for me. She is my favorite PhD holding nuclear engineer.
Oh, and that means so much coming from you.
Well, look, PhD sisters, I love it. I feel it. She's, of course, done amazing work on the Survivor anti-racism petition, and you may know her from Survivor Cagayan. We, of course, have Dr. Jatia Hart here with us today. Jatia, welcome to the podcast.
Yes. Thank you for having me. I will try to interrupt constructively.
Yes.
I'm not promising anything now.
That's perfect. We love that. Big
constructively. I'm going to be using that like you don't believe in the office all the time. I'm sorry. I'm just going to be interrupting you constructively here.
That's why it's allowed to be constructive criticism. As long as it's constructive, then it's okay. All right. Well, of course, we have both Beth with us. You heard her wonderful voice, and Aman here. We're just going to go ahead and hop right on in. Beth, Aman, how are you guys?
Doing well.
Doing well.
I'm great. I'm great. I'm glad to be reunited for an entire podcast with Jatia. We played briefly together in the All-Star Sequester. I got my ass voted out. Jatia, but it's fine. It's fine. She didn't think any of us were coming my way.
You out, mutton chops. You know, you was my bae. I was trying to keep you, and like, my goodness, I wanted you on the side. So.
I know that. And I was debating on whether or not I wanted to like shave earlier this week. I was like, oh no, I can't because I'm going to be recording with Jatia later. So let me keep the mutton chop.
Correct, and you know I'm coming with the nicknames. Yes, you guys look fantastic as always, and like I said, I am glad to be here with my Animal Crossing boo, Augusta Wynn here. Yes, Beth, and Mr. Mutton Chops, and my PhD sister. So I am super excited. I'm ready to jump into it. I got my hand motions together. Who am I pointing at? This person, this person, this person. All right.
And extra reason to check out the video version of the podcast on the Rob Has a Podcast YouTube page. Hopefully this one will not get taken down for copyright. We promise we may be the bad girls and bad boys of Drag Race podcasting, but we'll survive this go round. All right. Well, Jatia, let's start off. Can you give us some of your thoughts on the season so far? How are you liking season 13?
I'm not going to lie. So I listened to your podcast about the first 2 episodes. And I was like, why are they? It's just like fake drama. I did not understand like the pacing of how they presented it. It was just really weird. Like, I'm like, are they off? Are they really off? Like, I ain't know. Maybe they ain't know neither. Maybe everybody was confused and it was like, we just gonna go this way. So I was very confused with the pacing. I was super excited to have a drag race and like a in-person drag race, not like a virtual drag race. Cause like the virtual finale for me it did not fill my drag race bucket. I'll say that. So glad to have them back in person. You know, the first episode, I am always underwhelmed. I'll say that. I'm always underwhelmed by contestants on the first like 2 episodes. And then like you get further into the season, you're like, where the hell was this person? You know, the very first episode. For me, it was all about, who was the first one? Kimora? Yeah. I was like, I just want to look at her. She was very Valentina to me, like very Valentina. Like I could just stare at you. You ain't got to talk. You ain't even got to take off your mask to lip sync. Okay. Cause I'll just look at you.
Especially in 2020.
You know, trying to hold back my opinions. Correct. Right. See, she was ahead of the curve and she knew about the Rona and we just trying to catch up. So yeah, I was ready to get deeper into the season with this episode.
Yeah, I think that's a great point about the getting to know the characters because, you know, as we go through the season, you were like, oh yeah, this person. And then if you rewatch it or you go back, you're like, oh, this is what they were doing. Cause you just don't have that full story. And, you know, I think we got a lot of insight on some of the contestants. So did everybody watch Untucked? Because to our audience, if you have not seen Untucked, well, girl, you're only getting half the story. Because really, I mean, something that was continuous throughout the whole episode, and I want to just talk about it now, is this whole like Candy versus Elliot, and then Candy versus Tamisha whole drama, because it really was a through line throughout this whole episode. You know, we get at the end, after the elimination, Candy is again saying, oh, Elliot should have been in the bottom, or, you know, LaLaRe didn't deserve to be there. Candy saying, oh, Simone is my biggest competition. Tamisha clapping back at her about all of that. And then in Untucked, we get sort of the culmination of this big fight between the two of them. So, Beth, I see you having a facial response to this. What were your thoughts on all the drama going down?
God, well, little girl, all I have to say, no, it's time out. Tamisha, Vaughn, and Candy. I want to first and foremost, before I even say my thoughts on this, say we have been dying for this kind of drama in Untucked, in Drag Race for a few years now, right? And we get it. And fans immediately start attacking the queens. And in some cases, in Candy's case, literally finding her mom's phone number and bombarding her mom with harassment and calls. That is just not okay. So I'll just put it out there. We have nothing to do with this drama except for look at it and enjoy it. So if you don't like it, turn it off the TV. Okay? Like that's the first thing I'm going to say. Secondly, after all that is said, I have to say, I love both Tamisha and Candy. They are both such great little drama makers, but come on, Candy, you are such a hypocrite. You are such a hypocrite. She literally tells Elliot, read the room, and then does not read the room herself. Like, she literally does not have the ability to have the self-awareness that she's telling other people to have as well. And I think that that's what's so like fascinating about her character, and that she's like this dominant, wonderful personality full of confidence. And that's what we need out of, you know, queens especially, but you know, queens of color, queens who are thicker, queens who have these kind of traits that a lot of people will like demonize a lot of the time. And that's what I love about her, is that she's like unabashedly herself and sticks up for herself. And I love that Tamisha's the same way. And
and Jatia, I mean, that drama felt real. I don't think they're faking it.
Yeah, I definitely think the drama was real. You know, it's funny. I usually do not watch Untucked because I don't like the drama. Like, I like the sunshiny Drag Race. Like, I come to Drag Race to get my feel goods, you know, to feel like, you know, I'm in the land of misfits and everybody understands me. And that's what they present like on the main show. So I did watch this one because, you know, I wanted to be up to date. But Candy is a mess, and Tanisha was like, "Look, Heffa, I'll handle you, okay? If you need it, I got it right here, okay? Come over here, I'll show you, okay?" So I just think Candy just needs to just go ahead. I know you Boricua and you ready to pop off, but just calm down. And she was being arrogant, and then she was like, "Well, if I am, tell me." I'm like, "There, that's what we're telling you right now."
Yeah, that was my favorite moment because I think Denali, or yeah, Candy said exactly that thing, Jatia, where it was like, tell me if I'm being arrogant. And Denali's, we are telling you you're being arrogant. She's like, well, yeah, of course, I'm defensive because I just got told
now. I'm like,
well, this is also moments after she told Elliot, you're just not self-aware, and there are things that you say and do and blah, 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 blah. And then at the same time, I'm sitting there as I'm watching it yelling, well, why don't you tell her in the moment? Like, if she's that way, why are you bottling this up? Also, this was in response to Olivia saying, since we're not getting critiques, shall we give each other critiques about their looks, not who they are as people in this.
Right, exactly. Well, first of all, your first fatal flaw is that you stink. I mean, like, what the hell? I mean, like, come on now. Let me talk about, let's focus on the show, you know?
Your first fatal flaw in this competition is the fact you're a shit person.
Yeah. Come on.
You lack morals and an inner compass. And I'm going to pray for you that you don't burn in eternal damnation. But good luck on the next competition. I mean,
I'll pray for you. I'll pray for you. Bless your heart. Yeah,
right.
Aman, this was wild.
Yeah, it really was. At first, I was sort of sympathizing with Candy a little bit because, I mean, she did tweet out during the episode that apparently we're not seeing everything, which we know to be true about reality TV in general. So I guess Elliot has been involved in some conversations or some comments that we don't get to see make it to air. And that's where a lot of the critique for Elliot came from Candy. So at the top of the episode, when Tamisha is like, I'm going to have to bring you down a little bit, Candy. Like, why are you trying to make it seem like Simone is the only competition? Which I don't necessarily think that Candy was trying to say. I just think that Candy wants to be in the top, and Simone has been in the top twice. So it's like, clearly Simone is competition. This is my competition right here. And I think she's probably been saying stuff like that a lot, which would eventually make the rest of the girls feel some kind of way. And we know Tamisha is not one to not feel some kind of way and then not say it. So when that popped off, she's like, look, you need to realize that you were right here with the rest of us. Like, yes, Simone has won. That's great. We all know that. We all see it. But that does not mean that Simone is the only girl in this competition. And yeah, Kandi just got defensive. So yeah, I mean, you have all these words for Elliot, but at the same time, like, maybe you shouldn't go around parading the fact that Simone is your only competition and nobody else is anything to you. So I see it from both sides. I'm kind of very like sort of ambivalent when it comes to them because I like the both of them. Like I tweeted out, I was like, look, I like both of them. So no matter who wins, I win. So it is what it is.
And I think that's the thing, really. Like, I mean, we know it is high stress. Y'all just need to move on and find something else to talk about. I mean, great. Let's hit the highlights of the drama. Y'all don't like each other. And next, so.
Yeah. And that's the thing, is that at the end of the day, it's a competition. They need to get their head back into what exactly they're doing, which is bringing the looks, bringing the acting, and bringing the tribute to disco next week, which I think we're going to see.
Oh, I'm so excited for that. I love a good disco era.
Yeah, that one's going to be really interesting. But before we get there, of course, we have all of the wonderful looks to talk about this week. Let's briefly touch on the mini challenge that we saw. So this was the baby drag dancing mini challenge, which we've seen before. Jatia, did you have any feelings about this? Did you like it, not like it? Anyone standout performances?
No, this was not one of the better mini challenges to me. It's weird, like baby drag. Okay, whatevs. And I think LaLaRe won it because she threw that stupid part of it to the side and was just entertaining. Like.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. I don't know, Beth, how you feel, but for me, it's like the first time I was like, oh yeah, this haha, but then now it's just kind of weird and creepy.
Can I be honest? It's creepy.
It's creepy. It's adult babies.
Especially when you have you're like, I'm going to dress up like a baby, but then do a lot of hip thrusting. And you're like, I think baby, I don't think sexualized nature. So I don't know. There's just like a weird situation to bring to it, but.
As a mother of two young children, I come to Drag Race to get away from that. Okay, I can see a baby throw a tantrum. I'm good. Got all of that.
Do not bring this here. Okay, well, thankfully we have the Maxi challenge to look forward to this week, and we have our first ball and also our first design challenge of the season. So we usually see this much earlier. We're at episode 5, although only the second elimination, and we're finally getting a design challenge, which made me happy. So for this, we have, of course, the 3 looks: the mixed bag, which was a punny look of your choice, but it has to have bag in the name, which we'll get to when we talk about Joey J, but fine. Also, money bag, the boss bitch look, and finally the look that they have to create themselves, which has to be made, of course, out of bags. Okay, so that is the Maxi challenge for this week. And always with these types of challenges, we get just so much in the workroom, which we get, a little bit more of the drama here and there. But, Beth, we had talked about this with LaLaRe and Tamisha's relationship. Oh, finally, we actually get to see this, some description, at least, of their, family relations.
I was really disappointed. I was hoping it was going to be something way cooler or more dramatic or something. It was just like, yeah, she put me in a drag the first time. And Tamisha's like, yeah, she'll always be an Aman at heart. She's not like a real Aman, but I put her in drag and, we've gone our separate ways. And I was like, that's it. That's it. All this buildup that we're sitting here waiting. And I was like, ooh, when are they going to fight? When is this going to come out? You're not my real mother. You're not my real. I was hoping for something like that.
Emancipation.
It just was like, I put her in drag the first time. Yeah.
Yeah.
I liked it.
I mean, it made me feel a little bit better about the situation because I thought we were all crazy. I was like, why are we getting the first drag daughter, drag mother duo on Drag Race and they're not talking about it? But now it totally makes much more sense. I feel like someone that knew the both of them probably was like, oh my God, she put her in drag for the first time. And then someone saw that tweet and then it became, oh my God, that's her drag mother. And then it just spread like wildfire. So it got blown out of proportion. So I guess we can just blame the stands for that. because this makes much more sense. Like that really wasn't that big of a relationship between the two of them. She just put her in drag for the first time. They know of each other. They're in the Atlanta drag scene, and that's just kind of where the story ends. But with that being said, I would not like for this relationship between these two to be the first mother-daughter duo on Drag Race. I still feel like we are due for an actual mother-daughter duo. So I'll take it for what it is for now, but I would like to see that in the future. Because I think that's an interesting dynamic that we've still yet to really see.
Well, if they do an all-winter season, and for some reason they do invite Sharon Needles, I really don't think they will, to come on, and Aquarius there you go. You have another daughter situation.
Hey.
But Jatia, you said you like this. Was it nice to see this extra relationship sort of shown on the show?
I did. I thought it was nice. I thought it was nice that, even though, it was a relationship that did not continue, that Tanisha looked at Lala fondly, because it could have been like, houses are competitive and those relationships. But I thought it was nice and sweet, and that she was positive, because as we see, it could have went real left.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
I think that also shows Tamisha's maturity of, look, she didn't stay with our family in our house, but she's still in Aman at heart, and that was really heartwarming to hear. And also, speaking of Tamisha Aman being heartwarming, not the ball challenge, like the ball like content that they were doing when Tamisha is like running through the categories. Better than the mini challenge.
Yes. Can we also just say, why did it take 13 seasons and 5 episodes for us to have a comprehensive history? Well, not comprehensive, but like more so of a history of the ball scene than anything else that they've done on the show. When so much of Drag Race is derived from the ball scene, anything from the categories on the runway to the fact that there is a runway. Let's just put it out like that. It's a mix of pageant and ball. And we get so much more history from pageant queens than we ever have from the ball scene. And I think the first queen that was openly about the ball scene was Mariah Balenciaga in season 3. But even then, we didn't get any education into it. So I'm happy that they finally said, this is what a ball is. And then when Utica, who's from a place in Minnesota that doesn't have the ball scene, said, I haven't done this. The fact that they immediately get up, we're going to show you, we're going to bring you to the ball right now. I loved that. It was so much like, cut the mini. Who needed the mini challenge of them being babies? Give me more content like that.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's really like an indicative of what's actually happening with the fandom, right? Like it's drag, no matter how many times RuPaul's want to say that drag will never be mainstream, bitch, it's mainstream now. Like the show is all over the place. You done got it in the UK, you got it in Thailand, you got it everywhere. It's international. So now we are seeing all of these people that had no idea what drag was come into the fold, including Drag Race queens, like Ru girls that have actually never been into drag until they started watching Drag Race, and now are Ru girls. Like, so I'm glad that they're finally doing it. I think a lot of it had to do with the fact that when it was, season 1, 2, 3, 4, when it was still viewed largely by people that were a part of the fringe society, they didn't really feel the need to go back into the history, because why am I going to, preach to my own choir? You know what I mean? So I'm glad that now that they know that they have eyes that are young and fresh to this arena, that they are taking the time to actually, teach the vernacular, teach the history. Let us see that stuff. Let us see that. I'm excited.
It was better than the mini challenge. It should have been the mini challenge. I don't know, like just doing different categories, pick a category. I don't know. I don't care, but it needs to be incorporated at some point in the future. The other big thing that we get before we are going to talk about all of the fabulous looks this week is the Ru walkthrough. So obviously you can tell that they're abiding by the COVID precautions by having Ru be on one side of the table, the other two queens sort of come up pair by pair to talk with Ru. Jatia, was there anything about the Ru walkthrough that stood out to you? Anything of note?
I like whoever makes Ru laugh. Like when you say something that makes Ru like bust into a fit of giggles, I'm here for it. that just makes the show for me. I don't know why him laughing. Like some of the stuff that they don't even be funny, but his reactions I love and are priceless. So.
Like Candy, I think Candy responded. It was when Ru asked, "Oh, Candy, do you have any musings on this?" Clearly a play on her last name, and Candy was right over her.
Totally didn't get it.
Ru just lost it, completely lost it.
That's one of my favorite little RuPaul memes, though, too, was when he makes some kind of stupid pun or joke or something like that, and it goes over a queen's head, and then he laughs at like, you didn't get it. Like you get to see this with Miss Fame in season 7. Like, you see a little bit with Angie. Like, there's just so many wonderful moments like that. And if you get it at home while you're watching RuPaul, like obviously you're in on the joke and it's fun. And even if you're not, to his point, RuPaul's laughter is very contagious.
In Candy's defense, though, like, wasn't that like, didn't he already kind of like make the joke when he said, "Do you have any musings about that, Candy?" Like, what else is she supposed to say? You made the pun.
This is like the match game, right? So it's like if somebody hits it to you, you're supposed to hit it back, and he fucking was like, "Oh, there go the ball!" Like, come on.
Yeah, you say something back, I think like, no, I've gotten all the candy that I need, right? Something that ties it back to, oh, look, I get that you're making a reference to my name, or,
right,
you know, I don't know, what's in a name, something like that. But
that would have worked. That would have worked.
And that was the thing, too, it was so clear that Candy didn't get it, because in the talking head confessional, Candy was like, I don't know what I said, but...
Like, here's the other thing too. RuPaul, and you can look this up. I know when he was on the Graham Norton show, he went through this, and he's done this on a few different talk shows as well. One of my favorite things that RuPaul does is he has a list and arsenal of responses he can say in any given situation that will at least make him laugh.
Yeah.
And so one of them is like, if you were to say, do you have any musings on that? You'd be like, you know, like, I don't see how that's any of your business, is one of the ones that he does. And that would have made him laugh, because then, you know, there's
you would have known that you knew that he knew that you knew that you knew that.
You can have one of those. The other one is
it's entertainment, right? So like if somebody is like, it's like, and you know how they say in improv, you always say yes and, like, you're supposed to build on the moment.
Exactly.
Yeah. Oh, okay, Andy. The other moment that stood out to me was Joey J. The shade that Ru threw at Joey J for the scrunchy boots. I was like, oh, Joey, you're in trouble, because Ru's like, oh, it's going to be a scrunchy boot again. Yeah, let me play you the scrunchy boot. What do you mean? This scrunchy boot? This scrunchy boot? Let me play you the scrunchy boot.
I mean, at least she's self-aware.
Yeah. Come on.
Just living a Filler Queen realness.
Filler Queen life. Yeah.
If the boot fits.
Oh.
You talk about volleying it back. There we go. All right. One super, super important thing, which I am crazy happy that Drag Race decided to air, and decided to really air the full conversation, was the queens talking in the workroom about the Black Lives Matter movement. Now, this is something that we have seen discussed on the show before, but for Drag Race to really just dedicate so much time to this discussion, not only to mention George Floyd, but also LaLaRe's connection, the fact that she lives like 2 minutes from the Wendy's that Rashard Brooks was, you know, pulled over and shot at. Like, that's just, I'm very thankful that this was a conversation that we got to see. And of course, then with the emphasis of Black Trans Lives Matter, because I think that, you know, now we're sort of past when the majority of the protests were happening. Black lives still matter, and actions still matter. And the fact that the executives, the executive producers, whomever over at VH1 chose to do this makes me very happy, because hopefully it will continue this conversation. Now, Jatia, you've done, definitely more than your part to help propel actual action for the Black Lives Matter movement. What did you think about this discussion and this inclusion in the episode?
So this is what I come to RuPaul's Drag Race for, right? I know I come for the entertainment. I come from the chuckling and the banter back and forth, but I think they do an excellent job of letting us into the real life issues that affect the contestants on the show. And I think that this was just a continuation of that. I love that, you know, they really show that vulnerability. It just made me love him and his comments just even more, because just the vulnerability, right? A lot of men won't even let you won't cry in public, right? That's not a thing that Black men are allowed, in society to do. So I thought it was really powerful, and I appreciated that, you know, it was shown and it was not cut.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And Aman, this felt super authentic. Like this was not forced. Yeah. The queens brought this discussion up, and I also love to see that.
Yeah, I mean, they know. I mean, I think they were talking about it in Untucked. Not this Untucked, but one of the ones before, where they were like, "We know that we have a platform now. We know that it's really important for us to be that voice and be a representation for people that are out here being murdered, being, stamped out, all of this stuff. And I like what Tamisha brought up about how she feels like we're in the right direction because she's one of the oldest people on the show. She's obviously not the oldest person on this planet, but she's one of the older people on the show who has been alive for a period of time where, Black lives, Black queer lives, Black trans lives were even more repressed than they are now. And so she has, a wider array of experiences to draw off of and see that, yes, we are headed in the right direction. And on top of that, yes, she believes that Black lives are beginning to matter more to the right people, to everyone, not just the right people, but to everyone. But also it's about reaching back to the people that are like disenfranchised the most. So you got the Black lives, and you got Black queer lives, and you got specifically Black trans women. So I just love that all of those pressure points were hit within the conversation. And I echo Jatia about LaLaRe. I like that he was, really, really expressive in the diary room, because I feel like a lot of times this conversation, it can become so politicized and so just in your face all the time that the actual gravity of it doesn't really sink in. And the fact that he lived so close to what happened to the gentleman that was killed at the Wendy's, that was what really hit him, is that could have been me. Like, and when you realize that, it just really changes your perspective. And I feel like the more and more people that have that moment of clarity for themselves, and they realize that this is not just in hashtag, this is happening every day, that's where real change begins to happen. So yeah, I think that this was great and didn't feel forced at all. And I loved it. And I hope that it did make people feel uncomfortable. I hope that there were people that were coming to Drag Race, not necessarily looking to be changed in this way. And I hope that they saw this and they were like, I didn't come here for this, but something's changed within me, because we need more people to feel that way, or else it's just, you're going to keep seeing this stuff over and over and over again. And hopefully, in the near future, Drag Race can be more, lighthearted, and it still definitely is. But until then, speak up when you need to.
We still having challenges with adult babies. So, it ain't really going to be that hard hitting.
I also don't think it's an accident that this conversation happens in the same episode that they're talking about the ball scene, which again, it was a product specifically of Black and Latinx, queer, and mostly like trans individuals who were of a lower social class, didn't have access because of their skin color, because of their gender identity, because of their sexual orientation, because of their ability to move forward. So having this conversation is so important to have on national television, because you can put a face that isn't someone who has just been murdered, but someone who you're enjoying for other reasons, and just it humanizes it a little bit more for people.
Exactly. Because there's so many young people that watch this show that don't necessarily understand that context. And I feel like this is a great bridge for that, or at least one of.
And I think that they didn't use this term, but what they're describing is intersectionality in this section too, right? So it's not just about a Black cis man. You look even further. What is it about being a Black cis queer man? Okay, so now not only are you a Black man, but you're also queer. What does it mean to be queer in general? What does it mean to be queer when you're Black? What does it mean to be, Black in general society? But then you can take it, you're a trans woman and you're Black. Like, there's so many different things here. You're a woman, you're trans, and you're Black, and there's different things that intersect with each other there.
Levels
that make
shit, honey.
Exactly. And so having these, like, even if it's not using the terminology that people might see online and such, if they're reading about this or if they're hearing about it, like, that is called intersectionality. And it is our job as white allies, for example, to be the ones that are out here telling people about this. So in a voice to be anti-racist. One thing that I clocked in that conversation, and I don't know if this was just an editor's choice in order to make sure that the queens of color were given more of a platform to discuss this or not, there was not a lot of white queens adding to this conversation. And I would really charge it just to make it a little bit, if there were white queens that were actively being anti-racist in that conversation, or we're talking about protesting, who were doing things like that, I would encourage that to only to put that in the episodes in the future as well. I do think it's important that the queens that are of color are given their platform to talk, of course, but it is our job as white people to also show that we are anti-racist, that we are out there fighting on behalf of our, our Black bi POC brothers and sisters out there. And this is something that I just kind of noticed. I sat back and I was like, this is really interesting that it doesn't seem like a lot of the white queens are really vocal right now about this on the show. But that also could have very much been an editing choice. I'm not saying that that's how they are in real life or anything. I know quite a few of them have been protesting or very vocal online. But I just think in terms of just going the extra mile and making that an all people inclusive conversation.
All hands on deck.
Yeah, it's an all hands on deck situation.
Tamisha Aman said in the episode, like, we're going to get past this when we realize we're all in this together. That means 100%. All of us. And I also loved her call to action that we've made a lot of progress, but we still have a lot to do. And I think keeping that in mind is also very important.
100%.
Okay. Let us go ahead and jump on in to the runway and to all of these looks that we're going to talk about. MissGTR, are you raising your hand? What is going on? Yes, honey, go ahead.
Thank you. So I try to give other people an opportunity to talk because I know we have a lot of people on this podcast because girl, I'll talk. But I just wanted to jump in. I heard Beth talking about intersectionality. And so I just want to say that this is a platform and issues that I so am passionate about. And with a set of African-American survivors, we pushed for change on reality TV. So I am very aware of this and I just am overjoyed, and I was like trying to hold back from just jumping in and on this. So I really appreciate this conversation and hearing this from all of you guys and just knowing that there are people in my same mindset. And I actually am continuing to work on changing representation for African Americans in larger society. So I'm working on a project. I know you may have seen on my Twitter at Jatia PhD, also my Instagram handle if you want to follow me. But I just started selling some products, and so I just want to put that out there. My products, they're STEM Queen stickers. They're for African American women for their representation in science, technology, engineering, mathematics. They're cute little sticker sets. Oh, I forgot my water bottle. I'll show you later. But they're cute little stickers, and they essentially they're like $10, less than $10, and all of the proceeds go to fund STEM outreach. So I just want to say that little plug. I'm gonna plug it again later. Don't worry, you'll hear about it again.
I loved it. So one of the students I'm mentoring right now is I love trying to, help mentor other students, but especially other women as someone who's, been as in the STEM field. It's rough out there, and she's also Black and struggles with things that I can't even begin to help her with. And so this type of outreach, that even though the most well-meaning people, the ability to empathize, and others that have gone through it, it's so critically important. And so it's really nice to hear you talk about this kind of stuff. In fact, let's just take a quick little peek right now. These are so cute.
Come on, STEM Queen.
So these are cute little things. I love doing outreach, and I do a ton of outreach, and it is like my judge. Like me and 8th grade girls, we are here. Okay, y'all. And so I saw them. They had like a ton of stickers, and they all said like support STEM. Oh, I have somebody else's sticker. Like this is one of the stickers I saw. Right, support women in science.
Hold on, let's make you. How do I make you? There we go.
Ooh, I'm glad I did my nails. Let me get And I saw those, and I was like, but what do I with the Black girls on it? And so I was like, well, let me do it. And so yes, this is something that just you want to see yourself in the things that you want to do. So I made these stickers, and it goes towards a good cause. You can get them online. Thank you for showing them. JatiaPhD.com/store. And you can also follow me. I'm pointing. If you want to hear more, and thank you for that. So I'm ready for the runway, and I'll show you the stickers again later, but I'm ready for the looks, honey. That's what we came for. Let's see the looks.
Looks honey.
Okay.
So, like I said, we had 3 looks this week: mixed bag, money bags, and the from scratch bag look. So what I've done, if you're watching the YouTube version on the Rob Has a Podcast YouTube page, I pulled still images of the different looks, and we're going to go queen by queen and just give our thoughts. So the first queen we're going to talk about is Denali. And she did the airbag look for her pun. And then for her created look, it was a very much Day of the Dead inspired realness look here. Beth, what did you think about Denali's 3 looks this week?
I felt like she should have been in the top. I was actually very shocked when she wasn't. I loved the ingenuity of the airbag look. This was something that was, for me, was very unexpected. Who can make a crash test dummy look that good? I don't know. And then I loved her sugar ball look. I loved that she was paying homage to her Mexican heritage. I love just how bright and colorful and floral it is, while at the same time being just like very fashion forward. It looks really well put together. It doesn't look like she just constructed it over the past 24 hours or whatever time frame they had. I just thought it was really great. And her money bags look, I thought, was one of the stronger ones as well. First of all, she chose a bag that fit. I don't know if they were just assigned bags or if they chose one, but
yeah, I wonder
some
about
of
that
these
too.
queens did not have bags that went with their outfits. So, but she carried it well, and she made sure to showcase the bag on the runway in an appropriate way that still made her the star, but like showcase the bag. So I thought she had one of the strongest runways. I was really shocked she wasn't in the top 3.
So as a reminder, the Coach Create advertisement, essentially, that we got in the middle of the episode is what the queens had to feature with their money bags look. So did they get to make their own? Did they get to, I don't know, because some of them did not go at all.
I think it was like a selection, like, they had like a stand and it's like, pick one.
So many of them were just like covered with random flowers that didn't match anything at all whatsoever, Aman.
It looked like a 3-year-old put stickers on something. Like, we'll get to some of them, but I was like, girl, what are you doing?
See, they should have had some STEM Queen stickers, and then they could have put them on the bag, and it would have been like cuter.
We can like support on the show.
It would have been better, honestly.
Write a letter to RuPaul, honey.
Yes, get a STEM. I want to see a STEM runway. I'm trying to see it now.
Correct.
Yes, let's get it out there. But no, I
would live. I would live for that. Oh,
I do like Denali's.
We need to make sure Jatia comes back for that.
Mm-hmm.
I will definitely be back if they have that challenge.
I do like Denali's what is it, Dias de la Muertes look. I thought it was really cool. I didn't realize what it was until she said it. And then I was like, oh, I see it now, because I couldn't quite understand that she was like trying to make a skull with the things on her face. And then I got like the whole handle of the bag. Yeah, so that was very well constructed to me. It looked like, it didn't look crafty. And even if it did look crafty, it's still like a really good idea. I love the fact that the airbag look kind of has like a bit of a club kid kind of feel to it as well. Yeah, I think she had a really solid week on the runway this time.
Mm-hmm.
This was to me, like it was solid. I think the Dia de las Muertes outfit was the best. The airbag, yeah, but there were things that were better. So she was in the middle. I think the middle to top, the middle top.
Yeah.
So I think she landed in my book. That was okay.
Mm-hmm.
I really liked the Day of the Dead look. My mom and I used to always do the Day of the Dead celebrations when I was growing up, so I don't know if it was just like my own personal bias. I was like, oh, I like this. The airbag look was creative, although there's clearly some things like the bottom skirt thing just doesn't look right. Like there's something off about that part of it. But I do like the creativity, and not that she had maybe anything to say about it, but at least her bag matched the look. So on the money bags look.
Yeah.
All right.
She didn't even decorate it. It's just like,
okay, that's what I'm saying. Like, did she just get a plain one? Or
she's like, oh, I forgot. Here we go. Grab, go on.
Yeah. Or did they have a set? Did they get, I don't know. I don't know. Whatever.
That's why honestly, Joey J got shaded, because you put Denali out here, didn't have to do anything to her bag, and it looks great. And then you get Joey J, and you're like, what does she put on that bag?
Well, we're gonna talk about Joey J. Yeah, so Jatia, the binary here on the on her money bags look, I thought was an interesting choice. And then of course we get the IV bag pun.
Poison IV bag. Yeah, I was like, I'm with Joey on the that don't fit, but I'd be like, yeah, that's exactly what I meant.
This has to be editing to make Joey look stupid. It just has to be, because how do you there's ivy on you? Like, where did that impulse come from if it wasn't supposed to be part of the pun? It doesn't make any sense. Here's what I think it is.
I don't think it's supposed to be poison ivy. There's just ivy, and that's not poison ivy.
But why? Ivy. Because it's an
ivy.
And it is sort of like a double pun.
No, it is a double pun. But she was trying to say it's not poison ivy. It's just ivy. And the judges are stupid. And they weren't getting it. I was literally yelling at the screen going, it's not poison ivy. It's just ivy. That's why she kept going, ivy bag.
Okay.
And that's why I was driving like crazy because they're trying to make both points. And Carson's the one that's actually a fucking idiot in this situation, and yet they make the idiot. Like, this is what
I got both points. Crazy. I guess his point is like, look, if I say that's what it is, and I'm the one who's judging you, it's the yes and.
Oh, 100%, Gia. What if she was smart? She would have been like, yeah, this is what. I'm sorry. Do the judges know what poison ivy looks like? It doesn't look like that. That is just plain ivy that would go up a fucking trellis. That is not poison ivy. Therefore, Joey is correct. Person, you're a dumb bitch. There we go.
I thought that she was literally trying to say it's just IV from like an intravenous, thing that you shoot up your veins with. Yes, I thought that's what she was saying, and I was like, no, there's literally IV on your body as well. Like, why are you not claiming that? But now that makes so much more sense. I was like, it didn't make sense to me that she was trying to say that it was just an intravenous vein or whatever, but not the floral kind of ivy either. Yeah, I was just like, oh my God, like, what is going on with the editing here? But okay, I get it now. I feel so much better.
What's that? What is it, like the who's on first? This was what that was.
Okay.
But I felt like I watched people online really come for her, and I was watching the judges come for her, and I'm like, am I the only one who speaks Joey J here? Like, I totally.
You could tell that she was like, because she was looking from Carson to Michelle to. She was like, you could tell that she was like, what aren't you guys getting? Like, am I stupid? Like, what's going on? And I was like, I think you are, Joey. Like, I don't get it, but now I get it. I get it now. I get it. I didn't understand that she didn't understand that they didn't understand what was going on.
They also didn't understand what she was trying to say too. It was just a whole bunch of misunderstandings.
Right. It was just, yes, it was a hodgepodge of mess. Yeah.
I was in the Aman boat that I did not get it. I didn't clock it until now, but it actually makes sense because earlier in the episode when she does the walkthrough with Ru, she says Ivy, not IV. She says Ivy bag. Okay. Could just be her accent, but she does not say IV. Anyway. Okay. Great. Good. Why don't we clear that up?
But that said,
that you'll get when you
is atrocious.
Yeah, right. Okay. So back to the look. So is
right. Let's get to it. It's ugly.
Yeah, that's the real point here. Well, so Jatia, do you think that this deserved Joey J to land in the bottom?
Yeah, it's pretty ugly. Yeah, these are pretty bad. All for different reasons. First of all, the bodysuit doesn't work for me. The hair doesn't work for me on the second. Neither does the purse. It's not a particularly cute outfit or saying boss bitch in any sort of way. Like, if you want to pirate it up, like you could have gone a lot of different ways. What's up with the eye patch? You just a boss bitch who lost an eye? I don't get it. And then like the last one, like, what are you? Are you like an 80s Barbie or what's going on? I don't know. It's none of these are working for me.
It was too much. On the last look, when she took the collar off, at one point, like in the backstage, it looked at least somewhat better. So it felt like she was just adding too much. And then I completely agree with you on the boss bitch look. Like, what is this? Yeah, why are you a pirate with a blazer?
Yeah, it's not giving money. It's not giving opulence. You know what I mean? Like, in a lot of ways that the other one does, like the other looks do. It's just not really serving it up for me. And I understood that what she was trying to go for with the last look. I understood that it was like, I understood the frame and the structure, but it was just poor execution. And yes, not everybody.
Her Madonna wig was like busted.
The wig line also is
it's a hard line. It's not a lace front. for someone who doesn't wear wigs, probably doesn't have all the money in the world. It's not a lace front wig. So we're so used to queens coming on with the lace front, which is why also, if anybody's watching UK Drag Race and you look at someone like Tia Coffee and her wigs, you're like, whoa, that's a shake and go. You took it out of the bag, you shook it, and then you put it on your head and you win. But so Joey is doing the best she can with what she's got, which is someone who normally doesn't wear wigs. I did appreciate that she did 3 different kinds of hairstyles. I like the binary message, which is to say, like, I'm trying to challenge the gender binary here, which I liked, but hate the purple bag with a look that does not scream money bags to me at all. Her last, I completely agree, Aman. It just was not well put together. And then for her first look, I would have preferred if her entire outfit didn't have any of the white on it at all and was just Ivy. And also, I don't know what it is. The shading on that bodysuit looks all sorts of weird. The contouring for it, it makes high. It's too high. Yeah, you're right. It's too high for the fabric to be too low. Like, it's like you have to cover up a little bit more, I think, for it to work. But I appreciate, in terms of cleverness on a pun, I appreciate what she was going for there. But I don't know. I just rough week for Joey.
For this to be an outfit that you brought.
I agree.
I mean, no scrunch boots though. So just some random like pink pumps that don't match. It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah, what was that?
I don't know. She should have done for the Ivy bag. I do now that I understand it. I get it. I like the concept, but I think then you have like the Ivy. I think she did it where there's sort of like green going into her, but then that's where then the leaves should start from if you're turning into whatever. Anyway, that's fine.
Or make your
and why was she a nurse? Why is she a nurse?
Oh, yeah. If she's getting an IV, but she's also a nurse, maybe she's like a bad nurse. So she's like doing it herself.
A bad nurse.
Yeah, maybe she's
like overgrown crotch and it's growing up out of it. And like,
what it looks like.
I don't know. Like that's what I'm saying. Like it was just not put together.
Yeah, this was an infection gone awry. Okay.
Getting green there.
All right, let's talk about LaLaRe, the other queen that ends up in the bottom here. Aman, walk us through LaLaRe's looks here, if you can.
So I appreciate the bag of bones. I understand what she was doing. I like that she had a little bit of a story to it. Like she's collecting the bones and the souls of men. I like it, but it's just looking a little too crafty. Like I like that the bones are like coming out of the bag, but it's just not. There's something about the construction of it that just looks like it's just copy and paste bones all over the body. There's like not enough form to it. It's not going far enough for me, but I understand the concept and I think it's a great concept. The second one, she looks wonderful. I like the fact that she went bald. I loved Michelle's joke about ladies and gentlemen, Mrs. Clean. I loved that. That was hilarious. But I mean, the last look, like there's
go on, honey, try.
Like if I
does anyone want to try to help?
Nothing to it. Like I literally don't have any words for this. Like
I have words. Worst thing ever presented on the runway. Hands down. That includes Jiggly Caliente's whatever apocalypse mess that was. That includes Alyssa Edwards' horribleness. This is the worst thing that has ever been presented on the runway, bar none for me. You can see that
I could do this and still do a better job at it.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
In how much time? She was given as much time as everybody else. This is unacceptable. She's like, I ran out of bags, so instead I just continued on. And I'm like,
you should have been knew you were going to run out of bags.
I think she worked on the hat. Maybe, I don't know what's going on. So I'm like, why didn't you just like cut the bags in half? First of all, you could have straight up just cut the bags in half. You could have cut the handles off the bags to make like a belt and then just use like, remember there was somebody who just used them as like panels. She could have fringed up the panels. She could have made her a peplum that only required it like to, like, she could have done like literally she just stuck bags to her. Like, I don't know what she was doing. Like, Yeah, no, this is a hot mess. Not only that, but even if she did just have some bags, like she could have put some bags on the boots. She could have made her like a little carnival looking outfit, like with the boot, with the flares around the arms and a headdress. Like she could have put bags up and down the boot. Like, oh God.
I don't know if the bars or whatever are open down in Atlanta right now for there to be viewing parties, but if I got booked, I would not show up if I were her for this episode. I just would not come. I'd be like, I'll see y'all next week. Because this, or at least I'd come for the last 5 minutes when I win the lip sync, because this is just atrocious.
She woke up violence against fashion. That's what happened. She said, "Fuck violence or fuck fashion. I'm gonna do a crafty job that's not even crafty."
I'm just worried about her because, like, even the bag of bones look right. So I feel like she could have came better. Like, she could have bedazzled. Like, she could have had that same thing, but she could have bedazzled the bag. She could have bedazzled like an outline around the bones. She could have had a skull that was
exactly.
out. Like, I could have blinged out.
Weird. Her shape is weird there. It's square-ish with a hip, and it's like it's not proportional, and you could tell that she's trying to go for a proportional look. So if you're going to do that, you need to be able to really like over the top with it. And just like
she knew she was going to be in the bottom.
That honestly, that was my thought too, was like if she just like gave up and was like, you know what, I'm gonna be in the bottom, so I don't even care what I bring out on the runway, because like I don't because I don't even understand. And my favorite comment was from Nicole Byer about like Utica made this whole sleeping bag thing in the same time it took you to glue some bags, and they were falling off her. They weren't even stuck on.
That's my point. Look at this picture. If you're watching the YouTube video, look at the last picture. You can see invisible tape.
It's literally coming apart.
I don't get it. I don't get it.
You know what? I'm just ready to move on. Like I can't.
I loved her second look. I hated the decoration she did on the bag, but I loved her second look. I thought it was gorgeous. I loved that she went bald. I loved all of that, but it was like I can't even look at that when I'm distracted by the shit that is in the third picture.
Yeah,
I just want to. I'd just like to go on to the next person.
I'd like to move on, please. All right, let's do that. Let's talk about somebody who, at least had not bags just stuck to herself. All right, yes. I don't even know how to talk about that. Well, Jatia, so what did you think about Elliot with 2 T's looks this week?
So she served my favorite look in her last look. I don't even know what bag that was. It was a bean bag. No,
it was a bean bag,
right?
Yeah.
So I thought this was my favorite. Like I loved that. Like that was something that she just made off the cuff. Like I like how they had levels. Like the jacket was the long, and then the petal, like the cuts. I loved all of it. It was like a candy coated Cruella de Vil. I love the glasses. I love the accessory. I like the white pumps. So I loved it all. And then it was very interesting that I heard Tina Turner or whatever the heck, Tina Burner talk about, well, I made a dress out of a beanbag. I'm like, so did Elliot with 2 T's, and she did it better.
Yeah. So it was hard to keep track of all the looks when, there's 36 of them. But based on this is the last one I saw, I was like, oh, Elliot could be in the top, because I thought that it was just so well constructed. And even though, you can argue that like the bra sort of like skirt set underneath is not that great, but she made a bag and the coat is just fabulous.
Yeah,
it's absolutely
it looks expensive.
Gorgeous.
And the wig is really great too with it too. Like she was able to say like, what are some things that I have that I could add to this with wigs and shoes? And I think that that's something oftentimes queens don't think about. Like, what do you also have with you that you can do to accentuate what you're making? So she clearly said, I got a nice millennial pink wig I could pop on. I've got white pumps. I've got sunglasses. I got things to make this really pop.
The second look is a little bit too similar to the looks that we've seen her do before. So she really loves that 80s era type businesswoman look. So I feel like that wasn't really giving me anything extra. I like the concept that she had as the gift bag. But what I would have just loved, because if she was trying to go for like cheap dollar store gift bag, I would have loved, that little plastic little thing that's always hanging on those that you have to rip off. If she would have made that out of fabric and accentuated it and have it like hanging off of her, I would have gotten it immediately, because it took me a couple of seconds to understand. And also, like, if the little 2 RuPaul thing was attached to her by, like, even if you had like a chain or something that was attaching that and you were carrying it still as a clutch, that would have pulled it together for me more, because it kind of just, at first glance, it kind of just looks like a regular dress with some ruffle on the top. But if she had like really just added a few more elements to make it just a little bit more campy as far as bag is concerned, it would have been great for me.
I completely agree. And I wish that she had teased up her hair really big, almost troll-like, to make it look like more of the like,
oh, that would
like
make it, yeah.
To come out. As a side note, in this first picture, in this look when she was on the runway, I could not stop thinking that she looks like the actress Missy Pyle.
Oh yeah.
I was just, every time I look at her, I'm like, that's Missy Pyle. But I just felt like the first look was too basic. The second look was safe, and the third look was really good. So for me, she was a great safe contender for this week. I was not mad at her. Specifically, she really benefited from coming after both Joey and Lala. I was like, oh my God, thank God someone did something okay.
The ruffles give me loofah, not gift bag.
Yeah.
Yes. And I think that that's the thing too, is that the gift bag concept also, like once she described it, and Aman, I think with the additions that you suggested would have made it more dollar store gift bag. It was just like, oh, it's a gift bag, gift bag, it's a bag. Okay. Like I'm bored with this. So
Right.
I think that's probably why she didn't end up landing in the top, despite I think the fabulous construction of the last look. Okay. Let's talk about Tamisha Aman. We've been, I think, both a little nervous about sort of some of Tamisha Aman's looks, even though we love her. And I think this week just sort of further solidifies my opinion on some of her fashion choices.
Yeah. So, I mean, look, like, I'm not going to get on her for what she chose to do for the first look, because, yeah, like bag lady, that's fine. But they were completely right, the judges, when they said that there just wasn't enough drag to it. And even in she's so adorable. Like even in like the little voiceover that she's doing as she's walking down, she's like, "Yeah, I'm walking out in this suit that I made 30 years ago." I was like, no. Like that's why you're getting critiqued. Like if it's fine if you made this 30 years ago and it still holds up a test of time. It looks great, girl. But add something, like it's got, like, you're on Drag Race. This is TV. It's spectacle. If you're gonna be a bag lady, be a bag lady. Make that suit out of bags. You know what I mean? Like do what you can. Like it didn't go far enough. You had the character down and everything, but it's just not enough. The second look, I thought that they were kind of unfair on the second look. I think that she looks rich. I think she looks expensive. I liked it. She didn't look any better or worse than some of the other looks that I saw for the boss bitch one. Not the best, definitely, but they were like, say it looked a little bit too pedestrian. I was like, I don't think so. I like this one. And then the third one, yeah, when she walked around the edge, I was like, yeah, like I'm really excited for this, but there's something wrong with it, and I couldn't quite put my finger on it until the judges started saying, yeah, it's just a little bit too busy. It's definitely beautiful craftsmanship, and I think Candy kind of hit the nail on the head. And I hate to give props to Candy because Candy was definitely the one fighting with her, but I think Candy was right. Like the construction is there, the skills are there, but the taste level is off. It's just not. It just looks a little wonky. Like it's not really bringing anything together. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Jatia, do you agree with that? I think I do as well.
Yeah, I want to like her, but yeah, so like she's a great seamstress, but this is not RuPaul's seamstress race.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing. That construction of the top part around the breastplate is really impressive, but it's ugly. It's really ugly.
Yeah.
I guess I'm like the only one. I really like that look. I really like it. The only thing I would take away are like the random dots on the skirt part that are supposed to like marry the like glittery kind
part of the bags.
It could be, but like
button on the bag.
I think buttons or something. But I would try to like find a way to not have them like as showcased there. I mean, we have to remember this is drag, okay? I love that it's shiny and glittery and all those different kinds of things. You can tell it's really well constructed. I like all of that. I think honestly,
it's old. It's old. It look like she designed it for church ladies. That's what it do. It look like Patty Bell. Love Patty.
But a drag church lady. I would love that. That's what I wish we could have seen right here. But what I think actually ruins it is, again, she's covering her neck. So all of a sudden there's just this separation. But look at how
ugly. It's not even blingy. Like it don't even go with the rest of it.
It doesn't go with it. If you took that off, all of a sudden you have a little bit more skin in the focus doesn't like black it out here so that you're only looking there. There's a little bit more of a focus point.
It ruins the line. It ruins the line. And she could have done this better. Like she could have had a body, like a plunging bodysuit or whatever. But she wears this breastplate every time. You can see it in every outfit with the old lady outfit. I don't even understand why you need a breastplate.
How beautiful she looks in that second look without the breastplate and without anything covering her neck. All of a sudden, she's given a little bit of length in her neck, and that's why she looks more powerful. And I wish that she would bring that over to this other look. There's no reason for the third look to have that black necklace, the black like bangle thingy bracelet, in the black pumps. In that situation, she should really have gone for a silver shoe and like maybe a silver bracelet, but I don't even think she needed any jewelry. There was so much going on here that the black doesn't do anything for it. What you need to do is just let that speak for itself. But because the black is in there, it really is distracting in a way that you can't put your finger on until you really look at it. But I think she looks beautiful in the second one. I agree with you, Aman. I really don't think that the judges were fair on her for that one. I think she looks beautiful and expensive and powerful. And her bag, thankfully, wasn't as bad as half the other girls. And she did a great job showcasing it. That first one, what the fuck? That is not, I'm sorry. I'm swearing up a storm today. I apparently am feeling things. Her first look is not a bag lady. When I think of bag lady, you kind of think a little bit more, and I hate to say it like this, but like more of like a homeless lady. Like that's what like
she just needs a rolly cart. That's all. Yes, like the bag just needed a rolly cart.
But do something that like why wouldn't you do like a garbage bag couture look? If you're a seamstress and you could put something together, like do a Chi Chi Devane, Alaska Thunder Fun. I'm not going to say it because I've been swearing. Like, I mean, like you can do something that makes it look like a bag lady. That's with fun. This does nothing. This is not a bag lady. This is just an old lady walking down the street and she looks great.
All right, let's go ahead and move on to Simone here, who has really been the front runner so far in this competition. Jatia, what did you think about Simone's looks this week?
So this was kind of hit or miss. I only liked her first outfit. I thought it was whimsical. I think she's really good with the whimsy. But yeah, she was a solid middle for me. The only one that really spoke to me was the first one. Yeah, it's beautifully constructed. When she talked about how it was velvet, sequins on velvet, I was like, oh, I love the contrast. Like I just want to run my hands over it, and it looks great on camera. So she, I think, really nailed it on the first one. And then the rest, me.
I loved the first look. The breasts are exactly the right comical size. Like there was something about it, and the way when they did the profile shots as well, I was like, oh, I love these. I want to motorboat these. I just really want to like hold them in my hand. Love it. I think I responded a little bit better to the second look. I just wanted to touch whatever material that's made out of. Like I maybe would have chosen a different wig. And then again, with the bag color, like was that assigned? But the last look for sure is, look, she hot glued some stuff together. She did her best. She was able to skate on by here, Aman, because, you know, the last look is really nothing to write home about.
I mean, she looks beautiful in it. I like that she's showing all that skin. But yeah, it's in terms of construction and concept, it's really not anything to call your mom about. But I have to say, I love that second look so much. It's really, and when she described it as a bit of like a futuristic type look, I was like, I am feeling it. It is totally Fifth Element. It's got like a lot of like Afrofuturism in it. I love it. I love the fire engine red, like acid battery red against that hot pink. I just wanted to touch whatever it was, and the fact that it really made her look very long and sort of like gangly and sort of like unrealistically skinny, like it just, everything worked for me. I just loved it. I feel like you would see this in some sort of sci-fi film, and she would be like the rival of Diva Plava Laguna in the Fifth Element. I just love it. I just love it so much. I want to write about whoever that character is. I just want to. And of course, that first look, yes, hilarious. I like the fact that she pops it. I like the fact that Nicole Byer is like, I didn't know that old Michelle came in black. I loved it. And she saved herself with those first two looks for me, and was able to skate on by with that last one.
Yeah, I agree. Beth, anything you want to add about these looks?
I think the edit really tried to build her up as if she wasn't going to she was going to be in the bottom. And I don't think this was a bottom worthy look, the last one at all. I definitely thought it was safe. And I think probably that's because she's lucky that other people did way worse than she did. But I could see this being sold on some random kind of sketchy, Facebook store that, you get ads for and you're like, I guess I'll try this out. And then you get it and you're like, oh, it's a lot cheaper than I thought it was going to be.
It's like a little wish.com.
Yeah. There we go. It's wish.com. There we go. But I love that, one of my favorite things about Simone is how she's able to embody her character. And if anybody is watching the video, and if you're not watching the video, I highly encourage you to do so. There's look at her facial expressions in all three. These are three very different characters. It's not Simone is just Simone out here. Simone is the, whimsical, bodacious woman in the first one. And then the second one, she is a power top and she's here for it. And then the third one, she's like, don't put me in the bottom, and it's a great type. No, but that's what I love the most about Simone. It's just she knows how to sell the garment, even if the garment is questionable.
Mm-hmm. Yes, exactly. And wish.com realness.
Wish.com realness.
Okay. Olivia Lux is the next queen to talk about. And the boxer look, the fact that Simone just did this.
I mean, that is just so Simone episode 2.
I felt bad for her, Aman. I was like,
even with the red hair and the braids, still was like, oh man, did you just borrow? Damn. Damn.
So sorry.
She probably saw Simone walking out in that look and was like, shit.
So mad. But what are you gonna do? You know what I mean? You have it for the pun runway. You can't really change it all that much. So right, you can't do a Candy Muse and pick a different outfit for the train. But Jatia, what did you think about her looks this week? For all the categories?
So I like the detail on the gloves. So I did see that the gloves were bedazzled. I appreciate that because if you're going to punch somebody in the face, you should do it with style. I thought that the cape, I like the cape. That is not a good pose. She should have thought about her pose at the end of the runway. But I liked the cape idea. It wasn't a home run to me. It was cute, but it wasn't drag. I feel like they need the bedazzle. You come on now. You got the dress for the cheap seats. Y'all a drag queen. Come on now. And I thought the last look was my favorite from her. I like the use of colors.
Yeah.
I think she could have punched it up if she was trying to do warrior princess. That doesn't automatically come across. And so she was solidly middle. And she was another one who was like, I don't understand why I wasn't in the top. I was like, I do.
I can tell you why if you want to know. Yeah, this to me, Beth, the purse, this was one of there's just flowers all over it. This doesn't really go with the outfit. Was she just given this? But the color matches, so maybe.
I actually wasn't as mad about this one.
A pick one. They just had to there was a table and they just had to pick what they could.
I didn't like Simone's color with I wish that she could have had a red one to match her wig in that fire engine red that Aman was talking about. For here, I actually am not that mad. I kind of like the almost orange yellow that it's not the same obviously as her her hair, but I kind of like that there's an homage to trying to tie in other areas of her outfit. Her middle outfit I think is I think it would be really beautiful to wear to a board meeting. I think that'd be really cool, but I don't get drag from it. I just get this is something that a woman would probably wear.
Yeah.
The first one is fortunate that it is the same exact outfit that we've already seen. And then the third one, again, I also don't get warrior princess. I get
Beyonce.
Yeah, I get Beyonce on tour.
This is very I Am Sasha Fierce era Beyonce, Sweet Dreams music video Beyonce. With that being said, definitely constructed very well. All the attention to detail in that bottom half and the whole thing really just the fact that those are all made out of holographic bags. I think that she did a good job. So as far as the craftsmanship is concerned, I think she definitely deserved to be where she was. But yeah, the first two looks are kind of, which is kind of why I was so weirded out as to why they were giving Tamisha such a hard time, because all of these looks kind of look very, I think the reason why the eventual winner of this challenge won was because her look was kind of the most drag out of any of them, whereas the other ones were kind of I'd actually wear that to a meeting. Yeah.
I think the last look, it's the sleeves especially are really gorgeous, and the fact that you can't really tell that it was made out of bags really adds to it. Because if you can take an unconventional material and craft a fabulous look out of it that you can't tell was made out of an unconventional material, you get points in my book. So for that last look, I would definitely give her props. But the other two, especially, I feel so bad that Simone had essentially a better version of her first look, but solidly in the middle for me as well here.
I think that, we don't really still have a good idea of what is the judging criteria for a ball. Is it the third look weighs the most and then the first two are, if they're fine, like, does that save you? Like, it's one of those things. And I think in Olivia's case, unfortunately, I think when it came to craftsmanship of a look, she had one of probably the most technically difficult things to put together, even though it kind of maybe looks more simple because it looks essentially like a two-piece bodysuit kind of situation. But at the end of the day, like, just the culmination of all three looks just weren't as good as some of the girls that were in the top.
Agreed.
Well, speaking about one of the girls that was in the top, Gottmik is our eventual winner of the ball challenge here. And I have two shots of her middle look. My partner pulled the images because I was super running late for work. So shout out to that and grab me some options. So I love that we get to see it sort of from two perspectives. But Aman, what did you think about Gottmik's performance this week?
Yeah, clearly a certain point of view in terms of the body bag. Like, I don't know if I would have ever thought to do something like that. I thought that if it were me, I probably would have just like literally had something like a body bag. You know what I mean? Like, remember Trinity Tuck when she entered into All Stars 4? I would have, exactly.
Doing that
like, I would have like tried to like turn a body bag into like a jumpsuit or something, and that would have been the look. But then she went full like, no, I'm going to give you guts and gore. So definitely a specific choice that she made that was very strong. I don't know that if I responded as highly to the second look that as RuPaul did. With that being said, though, in comparison with all the other looks that we see in this category, definitely elevated. Definitely, it pops out. That ruffle down the side. Like, RuPaul loves a good ruffle. He just does, because he reacted the same way for Tamisha Iman's look with the ruffle that came out of the belt of her golden dress. So he just loves that aesthetic. So I definitely, and the way that it moves with her limbs is just very, very interesting. And yeah, I kind of get the deconstruction of the last look. It's not my favorite out of the last category, but I understand why they responded well to it, especially in conjunction with all the looks. I think that all of her looks were different enough. And all of them were specific choices that I think that it really excited the judges. But I don't think that her last look was the strongest out of that category.
So that's the thing that I want to get everyone's opinion on. So Jatia, maybe you can kick us off here. That last look especially, I felt like the judges really responded well to and were just gagging all over. And I didn't think it was necessarily the best look. I thought Utica's, which we'll talk about in a bit, probably had overall better craftsmanship. I mean, I get the artistic expression that Gottmik is going for here, but I do kind of feel like, ooh. It's triangles.
So the thing, especially with the screenshot that you're showing us of her middle outfit, it makes me like it more. Like, when I just saw it on the show, I was just like, but I like that it is a unique take on this, because everybody just came with like a Miranda Priestley, Cruella DeVille kind of look. And this is definitely a suit. It's definitely a power suit. I love that the ruffle looks like she has like smoke following her. Like, it's like this silhouette, like an effect that you would have like in a PowerPoint presentation, smoky edges, and she gave herself literally smoky edges in an outfit. I love that. The body bag, not what I would have done, but damn, that's some hot ribs. Like, girl, her ribs are bedazzled. Like, how could you know? Like, that's not my thing, but she got on bedazzled ribs. Like, she could have just went gory, but no, she went gory and beautiful. Like the velvet of, the flesh. I love it. Even like the little intestine swinging like a little penis down there, not my thing, but it's very fashion. It's very gory. The last one is very Joan Jett, not my judge, but I do think, again, this was a great interpretation. It's kind of Fifth Element. What's the girl name from Fifth Element / Joan Jett? Yes. So I can appreciate that, and it's something like it's not boring.
It's certainly not boring. Yeah, absolutely.
Like you get, I think like at first glance it looks really like what the hell did you do? But then when you look at it, you're like, actually, could I like do the same thing? I don't think that I could construct it that way. So like that's why I'm like, that's why I get, yes, girl, you went to fashion school. Obviously, you know the art of deconstruction. I get it, but it just wasn't my favorite. But I understand from that point.
When I compare it like to remember the Ivy bag and like how her like the panty on her was like a hot mess.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that panty is not a hot mess. That panty is well, I mean, it's covered, but like it's constructed and there was no gapping. And so I appreciate like, yeah, it's not a lot, but it's done well and it tells a story and it's not boring. So
yeah, I think that I personally, the third look is not to my liking personally. I can appreciate why it's appreciated. I don't care for it myself. But I do appreciate that it's like Simone had 3 different characters. And I said that I really like that she presented 3 different characters. And Gottmik had the same character in 3 different aspects of this character's life, right? So it was like when she used to be a boss bitch of a company, but then she turned into a punk rock fashion model singer. And then she, died tragically, but still looked good doing it. Like it's kind of like you can kind of see that this was the same character, just in different aspects of this character's life, which I appreciated. And I like that it's 3 very different looks, 3 very different silhouettes, constructions, fits, everything. And I think that's why she wins.
All of it.
So
on the second look, I couldn't help but note the ruffle thing. Rosé loves to do that effect too, and kind of got red for it with the blue train look. And so, like, oh, you just stuck those ruffles on. So I was like, oh, Rosé is
this doesn't look like it's just stuck on as much as Rosé's. Like you could see the pin.
Exactly. I mean, this definitely looks like it's part of it, and it creates a cool effect as well. So for sure, I definitely agree.
And I think that all 3 of them are just very different for what you expect on the runway, and specifically in a ball challenge. So I think the unexpected factor is exactly why she wins this week. And she does obviously have a specific eye for fashion. I am not a fashion queen. I am not somebody who like studies up fashion, that kind of thing. So I'm speaking from an outsider perspective of, well, this is kind of what I'm seeing and this is how I'm responding to it. But for somebody who understands fashion, I think quite a few of the judges do. I can appreciate where they're coming from, their opinions.
Right.
Okay, speak of Rosé, Beth, what did you think of her looks this week?
I loved Rosé. I know a lot of people were talking. I think Utica, in my opinion, had like, and we'll get to Utica, I know had like the best construction look. But in terms of 3 separate looks here in references, like so Rosé had 3 great reference looks here, if that's what I can go for. I think Rosé's first look is the best out of all the first looks. I love the bagpipes look, the homage to her Scottish heritage. And can I just say, Rosé's Scottish accent was freaking hot. Anyway, I thought this was whimsical, but also beautiful. Her second look was such a good Bette Midler, homage. I will say that the makeup's a little off in that one. But I love this kind of homage. I don't know if the bag really goes with it. I think that they must have just thrown bags at Queens. I really think that's what they did. But what really sold me in the second runway is her ability to own the runway and act out, make those homages. That's why I was really surprised. We talk a lot about references on this show and how RuPaul and Michelle, will always ding queens if they don't get references. And here, like, they didn't really give her props for that. And I just thought that was really out of character for them. And then with this third look, I love that it's kind of futuristic. I love the hair with it. I like the bags, how they were kind of split in half. And this is basically what I feel like, to a certain extent, what J'Tia was trying to say that LaLaRe should have been able to do, is like cut those paper bags in half and do something that, plays with the handles a little bit, makes it a little bit more flowy, which is hard to do with paper, but there's a way to do it. I love that she was able to make this kind of futuristic, Jetson drag queen. Yeah.
Barbarella.
Barbarella. Yes.
Yeah, very much that. And I mean, these are the looks that landed her in the top as well this week, which I think it was sort of maybe that last slot that some of the other queens were competing for. But yeah, Aman, what did you think about? Did you think that she deserved to be in the top for this?
Yeah, I mean, I liked the fact that it did have, you know, some surprise to it with the spinning out of the skirt. So I think that she definitely when she had an image in her mind and she executed it pretty well. I like the first look as well. The second look, like I said, the second look really isn't any better or any worse than a lot of the other ones that we've seen in this category. I'm a little worried about Rosé because she is, you know, a seasoned queen. She knows how to perform. She'll give it to you in some of these challenges, but I'm worried that is she going to have the same fate as her sister? Is it like a thing where like you are too much of a student of Drag Race and therefore you're just not you're lacking a bit of like that extra uniqueness, nerve, and talent factor because you watch too much of the show and you're too much of a refined performer? Because she's starting to fade a little bit in terms of like even in the edit of the show for the past couple of episodes, she's kind of been taking a back seat. And the same thing with Tina Burner as well. Like we haven't really seen too much of her in the past 2 episodes. So I'm kind of worried. Like I feel like she really hasn't come into her own in this competition yet. Obviously, yes, she did a good job this week, but like I want to see more. I want to see her in the diary room more. I want to see what's going on because the edit right now is just not giving it to me.
She's been in the top every week, right?
She has, but like I feel like she hasn't.
So weird.
Let me look at the stats real quick. But Jatia, what were you saying about Rosé?
So this is the thing. I think that she's going to do well because it seems like this happens every season that they have to save, you know, some people up, right? Like you don't think they're much at first. And because they're going to go deep into the season and you're going to see more of them later, they kind of save them for later. So I think that's what they're doing with Rosé. Next week, there is a like a musical or a performance challenge. She always shines in that. And I think she was solid. I think when she twirled her way right into the top.
Yeah, because, she was spotting. That was like she's a dancer. She knows what she's doing.
Right. So the Barbarella look, the Scottish princess, Bette Midler. They did say Bette. I heard them make a reference to Bette.
Oh, they did, but like normally, but they didn't give her like props for it. Normally, like even with Utica coming out.
I thought they did. I thought that's why she made it into the top.
I think she during the critique, Michelle did say something about it, and she was like, "Oh I
gave her credit, but then they said it was sort of the most simplified version or something. There was a critique associated with it, but it wasn't because you don't get the reference, and they did give that to her.
No. I'm not saying that they didn't get the reference. I'm saying that I didn't really hear much of an applause for the reference when normally things like this is what they will
extra credit for it. Like, you did a reference of something that is right. Yeah. Also, to address your question, Beth, so Rosé was obviously she lost the lip sync, but then in the 3rd episode she was top 2. Then she was high both last week and this week for her work. So yeah, I think she's also, I agree with Jatia. I think she's going to be in the competition for a while. I think hopefully maybe eventually we'll get to hear a little bit more from her. I'm hoping that it's not like a sugarcane edit where, you know, she just sort of fades a little bit into the background, but
because it's just like she's always like right on that cusp, and that's exactly what happened to Jan. And I'm like, are they really doing this again with Rosé? Like, are we going to have to watch this? You know, are we waiting for the runway where she loses out on the one that she wanted the most and she walks to the back and gives us that face? Like, I'm waiting for it. I'm waiting for it.
Yeah, I'm nervous about that too. But what I'm finding interesting is that for so long I wanted 90-minute episodes of the show. And now when I watch UK Drag Race, I'm actually like loving that that's an hour, because what they do is they focus on what are the important parts of the story. And we almost get too much information that's like not necessary for the episodes, so that we have moments like this, because we didn't get a lot of Rosé, we didn't get a lot of Olivia, and we didn't get a lot of Tina. And those are 3 people that I think have done consistently.
All have history together and are in New York. I was like really expecting to bite a little bit more into that story. And I mean, but Jatia is probably right. Jatia is probably right that they're waiting for it. And once we get some of these other queens up out of here, then.
And we said the same thing about LaLaRe and Tamisha Aman, and we got that this week. So I'm sure that it's bubbling up, but it's not as important to the storyline right now. So yeah, but I agree with you, Aman. I understand that worry.
Well, speaking of Rosé's rival, I guess maybe, which one day we'll probably hear more about, Tina Burner here on the runway, who probably borrowed the second look from Bob. But Aman, what did you think about Tina's looks?
Yeah, I mean, they all definitely have character. I love the brown bag look. I feel like she could have been a little bit more brown though, because those brown bags are like a little darker to me. Like if there was like just a little bit more texture with the upper half of the dress, I would have gotten a little bit more, because it's giving just a little bit.
It's reverse. The bag, the brown part is the bottom part, and then the bottles stick out of the bag.
I said the same thing. I said I'd like this, except for she's upside down.
Yeah. Well, Jatia, you had a bit of a reaction to these looks, a little ho-hum, little in the middle. What were you thinking? I think you're muted here.
So,
yeah, great.
Yeah, I got. So I was just like, man, like, yeah, it's just blah for me. Like the middle lady looks like a church lady, not a boss bitch. Like it looks like a church lady who is over the top, like my grandma's rival, and she's like, who the hell she thinks she is coming to church like that? Like that's what I got more of. Maybe even Kentucky Derby, like maybe some Kentucky Derby. I hate the last one. I think that's super ugly. And the first one ain't that cute either. Like, and it ain't even got to be cute, but like, it's just, and it's just like, I made this out of a beanbag. And I'm like, okay, great. Like, it just doesn't do anything for me. None of it.
I think knowing that Elliot also made hers out of a beanbag, and I liked Elliot so much more, made me dislike this one more. But
it's very Ronald McDonald. It's very McDonald's. Yeah, it's very.
And she need new signature colors. Red and yellow is not cute. It's not cute.
Which we know is her brand and such. And I'm getting bored of red and yellow and orange and being bright and everything. Like, I appreciate what she was going for here. It's not the worst thing that was presented or constructed. It's I don't know in what world what she was smoking to think that she was going to win this competition with that, or this particular challenge, I mean, with that. But I need to see more from her. And I appreciated how she was acting on the first one and like the first runway. I appreciate that she's more of an actress and a comedy queen, and that she's campy, and that this week showed a good mix of camp and fashion for her. But the third one's just not good enough to win the competition. I'm sorry.
And she's getting out camped, to be honest. Like, Simone is not a campy queen. She's not a beauty queen. She's an all across the board. And that's what you have to be here, because like Simone out camped her.
Let's be honest, that was a campy look, the body bag look, but it was also fashion. There's a way to be camp and fashion. And I love the second look. I really do. I understand exactly what you're saying.
But it doesn't fit the category.
It doesn't fit the category. Exactly. Like, I don't think that it fits the category at all, but it's gorgeous. And then there's nothing else to say about her. Like, this was a meh week. Okay, great.
Yeah, it was meh. I mean, it's safe. I agree. I think that the looks are safe. She definitely doesn't deserve to land in the bottom for these, but at the same time, you know, it's a little. I'm not responding as positively as I maybe thought I would to what she's bringing to the competition so far.
And she doesn't make me like her. Like, and that's funny coming from me. But I don't know. I just like it, and not in a, like, I don't like her in a bitchy way, and I don't like her in a nice way. So I don't know.
Well, we'll see. I think she'll probably be able to make it, especially with a lot of acting challenges and those kinds of things. I'm sure she'll make it deeper. So we'll see what she's able to bring to the rest of the competition. But next, we've got two more competitors to talk about. And the next one is Miss Candy Muse, the center of drama this week. Beth, what did you feel about Candy's looks?
Okay, Candy, love you, girl. In what world did you think you were going to win this challenge? I'm sorry, honey. This is not it. I swear I had a moment where I was like, oh my God, is she about to pull a Silky in Untucked? Which I was ready to lip sync. That's what I thought we were getting in Untucked. But she was like, I thought I was going to win. But I was also ready to lip sync. But she thought she was supposed to win. Now, I will say for her last look, I like the top part way better than the skirt part, but it's still a mess. Her second look, and here's the one thing I do love about Candy. I love that she is a curvy, bigger queen who shows body and loves her body and loves herself, because bitch, she is beautiful. But not in these two looks. Like, I don't think that these looks were good representation of the kind of drag she's capable of doing. And the first look was, I liked the like pole coming out of the bag, and that's it. I do appreciate the first look is very different from anything else that she's shown on the runway, though, and I liked that. So that was my favorite look out of her three. But this was a rough week for Candy.
I was really shocked when she thought she was gonna win. I'm the line between confidence and arrogance, right? That's what Tamisha Aman talks about, because here I really think this it wasn't in the top, Jatia. Like, it just wasn't for me.
Okay, so I've been over here facial expressioning because I'm just like chomping at this. Like, first of all, your first look looked better in the second category without the ears. Like the best thing she did was pull that long ass pole out the bag, and like she missed with the whole cape thing. The cape thing, like, it was just like meh. What the hell is this second outfit? First of all, your hair is made of money and you're smoking a money blunt. Like, get the fuck out of here. The taste level on that is like at my pinky toe. So I don't know what the fuck she thought she was doing. I just want to curse all through this. It was a mess from the Ruta to the Tuda to the Duda. She was a mess. And then, like, she got trapper keepers like pinned to her waist. Like, they look like book bags and not fashionable ones. Like, it's a hot mess. The best thing about her third outfit is the hair bobbles. That's it. That's it. Like, I'm like, she could have done some like shorts and done like a fly girl type look, because that's like, 90s and stuff like that. That would have went with the bra top that she had. It was just all busted. All busted. She needs to get the fuck out of here. Sorry.
Yeah. So I liked what she tried to do with the bag of tricks. I understood that. It really did kind of become one note when that was all there was to it. I mean, I get that it turned into a cape, but it wasn't, as in terms of like an entire look, it was fine, serviceable. It'll get you through. The second look, I get what she's going for, but if I think she looks sexy. I just wanted more money. Like, make the whole thing made out of money. You know what I mean? Like, screw the pink. Give me like green money all over you. Make the stockings out of money. Then I would have been like, you know what? I got you. The third look, I think, was the strongest out of the three. I knew exactly what she was going for. I've seen that girl. I've been to school with that girl. I've grown up and seen all kinds of girls that look just like that. I love the hair with the bollies in it. I love it. It reminds me of my little sisters. I love it. But that
you had girls who wore notebooks and skirts who go to your school.
Exactly. But that skirt, like, if she had made it look more like a skirt, like if the bottom of it wasn't, because it just looks like sewed book bags. Like, smooth out the bottom of the skirt, make them come together. Like, in the same way that you constructed that bra, you need to add the same amount of care to the skirt. And also, I would have just done away with the heels entirely, and I would have found some tennis shoes that match every single color of that entire attire. Because if you're going for like the whole schoolgirl look, and I love the fact that she had a character too. She like got to the end of the runway and she was like, "Do you want to fight? Give me the tennis shoes, girl. Give me the tennis shoes. I want to see all of that." Because I knew exactly what she was going for, but it just didn't. Exactly. Take out. Like, I want to see all of that, and it didn't land the way that I think that she wanted it to land. But I understood what she was going for, but it wasn't there.
I'd like to point out that I'm as much as I liked the first outfit, I just got that that's a rabbit on her top, and I thought it was a cat.
Oh, I didn't even realize that either. Yeah.
I got that because she was pulling it out of the bag.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't get that until just now.
Okay, the thing about the last look is that what I gave Olivia credit for, which is when you take an unconventional material and you make it not look like that, this is the exact opposite of that. I mean, this is like almost, it's not as bad as LaLaRe territory, but it is just bags stuck to you. Except for maybe the red one, there's like a little bit of something going on there. But the other one's just gone stuck on there. And it comes across honestly as a little bit lazy. Although maybe she did the top part and then was like, oh, I really like this, and then ran out of time for the bottom. That could always be the case.
Yeah.
but there's just like little things that are off for me in every single one of these. I wanted like more tricks for the first one. I wanted it to be more of a reveal with the lingerie underneath. So this like boss bitch coat, right? And then you kind of break it up, or the money suggestion, something more.
I just got that it was supposed to be a boss bitch coat. Like that just registered me. I was like, oh,
that's what that was supposed to be. Right. Exactly. And when it takes that extra step, then you know that you've missed the mark, I think.
Yeah.
The school marks, like her book bag. But we do get a good Jan Sport reference here. So Jan's back on the show for a little bit.
Yeah.
All right. Last queen that we're going to talk about today. So Jatia, what did you think about Utica on the runway this week? She was the other queen in the top, sort of the other queen that was vying for the win this week. Do you think that that was deserved?
I loved this. I loved everything she had going on, even though it wasn't, again, not my judge. I got all of the doggy bag. I got, the powerful Anna Wintour, wacky, eccentric, powerful fashion woman, not a basic Cruella de Vil look, and then the sleeping bags, the construction, I love it. And I think she sold it. I like her weirdness. Like, be weird, girl. Be who you are. That makes you stand apart. And yes, I love it. So I thought for me, she should have won. That's me. I'd have gave it to her. So
I would have as well. If honestly, just for the last look as well, I love this. And the fact that she made it out of friggin' sleeping bags, that's so impressive. The way it's constructed, it's got a train, so it fulfills requirements of last week's challenge. Like, it's just so much about it that I really responded positively to. The faces for her other looks. Like I said, my partner pulled the images for this. He was like, why does Utica make so many faces? Sorry.
I appreciate her. I'm a faces girl too. So
yeah, expressive. She is expressive, honey. Beth, what about Utica? Did you like or not like this week?
I loved all three looks. I mean, for me, I think that we had the right top three, and I do think Utica was ripped off from a win here. I think that Gottmik had a really interesting, cool fashion approach. Utica had a drag approach. And if this is drag race, I want to see a drag look win over what you might see on a fashion runway. Maybe I'm really alone and off on that. But for me, what I really appreciated was for the doggy bag. She had her little doggy bag. She went to the restaurant. She had her leftovers, but then her hair looked like a poodle. She acted like a dog. I mean, she had like the little paw prints on, like the little like scarf thingy. Like, I mean, she had little things here and there that were drag-esque, and the way that she had presented it was amazing. The second look, there's so many homages to different things here that I love. And it's a drag version of somebody who is a boss. That is someone who is opulent and those kind of things. And I love that this is the second Carol Burnett homage that she's done in 2 weeks. Like, that to me is kind of cool. And she even brings up Carol Burnett to RuPaul in the walkthrough where she says, I want to be weirder than Carol Burnett and scarier than Tim Burton and those kind of things. And I love that RuPaul is kind of getting her now a little bit more. And the fact that RuPaul's even saying that out loud, that shows a growth to me. And it takes a really unique queen to be able to get that out of RuPaul, in my opinion. I think that the third look stands alone as I think this was the best look that was presented.
Okay, Aman, anything else you want to add about these looks before we move on?
No, I think that she did a great job. I love the big knockers on the second look, and I mean the third look is just, I mean, it's great. I mean, it's always great when you see someone that you see the vision that they had in their mind and they executed almost perfectly on the runway. And I love the fact that the judges were so generous with the reactions that they gave during the runway, because normally you think the judge is supposed to be like stoic and not really show, but even Utica knew when she walked out. She was like, I see they see this look, that this is hot. So yeah. Her win is coming. Utica will get her win. I can see it. It's coming.
I hope so. Okay. So that is the looks for this week. So before we talk about the lip sync, Jatia has her stickers and I really want to see them. So
yes. So I just want to say these are so cute. I love them. Oops, let me hide my nails that ain't done. Some of them popped off, but you know, it's the quarantine. So these are my stickers, STEM Queen stickers. We have our Black ladies. We have our STEM Queen crowns. If you can see that, it's not focusing,
Yes.
but it's a STEM Queen. So you can put that on your water bottle. I decorate them on my water bottles, my notebooks, these sort of things. They come in blue. And we have all different skin tones. So we have our medium tone skin tones, our light skin tones, our dark skins, girls, all of us. Ruta to the Tuta. We got our cuties. And again, all of this goes to proceeds. And the proceeds go to STEM Outreach. You can go online, jatiaphd.com/store, and also Jatia PhD on Twitter and Instagram. Thank you very much. We appreciate your support. Black Lives Matter, representation matters, Black minds matter. Thanks. I just want to plug that. I'm so proud of that. And thank you for letting me do that.
Yeah, absolutely. I am legitimately gonna go order a set right after we finish here.
Oh, well, girl, I was just gonna be like, just tell me your mentee's address. If you get her address, I'll just send you a set.
Oh, okay. Yeah, fabulous. Okay, great. I'll reach out to you.
Absolutely. I want her to have them because I want her to be so confident about what she wants to do and what she can do. I'm ready to talk about the lip sync because that was my fave.
Yeah, let's touch on the lip sync. Okay, so Lala versus Joey in the bottom two. We get Gottmik as our winner, of course, and those two are facing off, lip syncing "Fancy" by Iggy Azalea. Come on, budget. Jatia, what did you feel about this? Did you respond well?
I was so excited about the song, so I was like, "Yes, shell out for the licensing." Because sometimes they have the songs that you're like, "Okay, this is an oldie, but an okay." But this one I love this. I have sung along to this. I'm so fancy. I like, do that. So I was super excited. We both know they can move. It wasn't like last week where she was just gonna go like this in her heavy ass dress and look cute. It was about to be some movement. So it was about to be some kicks and splits. I was ready for it. So I was super excited. And this did not disappoint. So I loved the splits. I loved the picking up the money off the floor. I loved it all. I think the person who won should have won. So and Joey knew she was in trouble. Is that the right name? Was that
Joey J? Yeah,
Joey J. I think she knew.
Sorry, I didn't even almost remember your name, sis.
I think it's unfortunate when you're going up against LaLaRe. I mean, you could just tell sort of the energy. Joey was a little defeated here, Aman, and so yeah, it was a little rough. But I thought she gave it her all.
Yeah, I mean, there's always gonna be, like, of course, this is one of the weeks where you get that conversation about whether or not who really deserved to go home. Did the person that did better, that was the stronger out of the final two, deserve to go or stay, or did the person that win the lip sync deserve to stay? And I think that sometimes it just comes down to the lip sync, and there's just no denying when maybe if Ru wanted to save Joey J, because clearly Joey J's look was better and just better crafted than LaLaRe's, but she got slaughtered in the lip sync. So it's just like, how do you save her after that? And I think
I didn't think she got slaughtered. This is crazy.
Maybe slaughter is a bit much, but I think that there was just
she was up against a lot. So it's like, it's not that she did bad. It's that LaLaRe is like an 1,000. And when you are not even on the same scale, like she's on a logarithmic scale factor higher than you, it's like, can you really compete?
I think the nail in the coffin really was because that was supposed to be a moment when she throws the money up to match up the lyrics. And then that could have been a moment for her, but then LaLaRe ruined it by like adding comedy to it by picking it up. Like, oh, I'm getting it's just like, oh, like everything that she, like all the bags of tricks that she did have, it seemed like Lala was just like, all right, well, I'm going to use that. I'm going to use that for myself. I'm going to use that for she couldn't catch up. And it just, I felt bad because I honestly felt like she deserved, like LaLaRe's look was horrible. It was just horrible. And in comparison with that, like her look was just miles ahead of her. So it kind of feels bad that she's the one that goes, but they said it was your last chance to impress, and that's what LaLaRe did. So
we got a couple questions about this, which we'll go into in a sec. Unfortunately, Jatia is gonna have to leave us soon. So let's go ahead and just quickly wrap on up here, and then we can go back to a few other discussion points, and of course, we'll talk about Drag Race UK. Jatia, thank you for coming on. Seriously, anytime you want to come back, just hit us up and you are welcome to come back.
I will be back because so like I'll have to ask my husband, but I feel like I will be back. I love Drag Race and I love you guys. So funny because I knew there was a Drag Race podcast on RHAP and I didn't know all these people I really like are on it. So thank you so much for having me. Thank you, Mutton Chops. Thank you, Augusta Wynn, Miss Beth. Can I tell you guys, I started playing Animal Crossing and Beth like dropped some bags on me. I was like, she's like, come to my island. And like I literally had 5,000 bells in my bank account. She's like, here's 100,000 bells. I was like, bitch.
So I was your sugar mama. It's not a big deal, you know. You come on over to my island, you leave with a little bit of money, you know. It's just
like, what I gotta do for these bells? And I had to do nothing. Like I love her. Thank you very much. Thank you, Liana, my PhD sister. Love you, women in STEM. We rock.
Yes.
And again, please support. I'd appreciate any support, retweets, likes, follows, leave a comment. Mwah. Thank you guys for having me. I'll be back. I have to go wake up my son, which is why I'm leaving. But believe me, you want me to wake him up. You don't want him to come in here, child, because he is ornery when he wakes up. So love the podcast, love to listen, and can't wait to be back.
Great. Thank you so much, Jatia.
Bye. Thank you.
You can, of course, follow Jatia at Jatia PhD and check out her website, jatiaphd.com. And in the store, that's where you can get those fabulous stickers that she was showing us earlier. Okay. Let's go back to the lip sync because we got a discussion or a question about this from Zach on Twitter, who reached out to us and brought up this idea that, look, do you think that the bottom queens should go into the lip sync with the main challenge runway scored, and where the lip sync is the opportunity to sort of earn more points, or is it a clean slate where, look, these two queens are in the bottom, so then whoever wins the lip sync, clean slate, not taking into account the performance from that week, is that what makes the decision about who should go home? Because I think this is sort of what Beth is getting at, is like, she didn't, I mean, I'm not, you can talk about this, but I feel like, did Joey J do bad enough that when you add up the runways and you add in LaLaRe's look, like, I feel like that look was so bad that regardless of what she did in the lip sync, unless it was Denali level versus Kimora,
right?
I mean, Lala should have gone home, right? That's the discussion to be had here, I think, Beth.
Yeah, I think that I kind of go back and forth. And at the end of the day, let's be 100% real. How much do you like the queen that went home? And how does that impact your decision on that particular week? Because we've seen this before where queens that people really, really like didn't do as well in a lip sync. And they're like, but they did better in the challenge. So why did they go home? Right. We've seen it the other way, where queens who aren't as well liked did equally as poorly in the challenge, did better than the other person in the lip sync, and people are upset. And what's funny about this situation is that I feel like people, let's be 100, I'm just going to call it what it is. I think that either way, if LaLaRe would have been home, people would have been upset, or gone home. I think people would have been upset. And if Joey J went home, which she did, I think people were going to be upset. So in a week like this, there's no winning because both queens were very much deserving of being in the bottom. And if the lip sync is supposed to be the thing that you're proving yourself, it's ultimately RuPaul's decision anyway. It's a subjective judging show. There's no objective criteria. So
I think it kind of just came down to, I mean, and obviously for this one, I think it came down to the lip sync, but we've definitely had situations before. I remember like back in season, was that 11? No, 10? No, 11. Where there was that whole thing with, I'm forgetting names, Raja O'Hara and what is the other girl's name? Oh my goodness, I feel so bad, but they were both on the same team during a dancing challenge. Raja did better, and the other girl was like messing Raja up during the challenge. And then when it comes down to lip sync, the other girl like pulls out glitter and throws it up into the air, and it's like this big, cool, unexpected moment. A lot of people think that she beat Raja in the lip sync, but Raja was the one that ultimately ended up staying. And a lot of people were like, well, it's because she did better in the challenge, and now we get the exact opposite here. So I guess it really just is about like, yeah, who is Ruth feeling more at any given moment? Like, is Joey J, do they think that Joey J is going to give more, has anything else to offer in this competition? Or do they think that LaLaRe has more to offer?
It was Scarlet Envy was the other queen. And then like had the dress and stuff and like had the whole thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that what's going to be interesting, and I know that we'll talk about this, is that we see the opposite of this happen in UK Drag Race this week, in my opinion, where the person who did worse in the challenge that people really like stayed, but people were upset. You know, it's an interesting dichotomy.
Yeah.
I just think it was just hard because at least for Scarlet Envy and for Raja O'Hara, for me, the lip sync really wasn't that. I feel like it was close enough for Raja to stay. For this one, it just, I don't think that she was slaughtered. I think that I was being a little bit hyperbolic when I said that, but I think that Raja was just doing so much that it was kind of hard to sit there and be like, okay, Raja, go home after all that. You know what I mean? Or Lala to go home after that. But at the same time, I thought there was a moment in time. I was like, maybe they can still send Lala home, because there definitely were moments where she just looked a mess. Now, I don't know if it was just because what she was wearing that she looked a mess. Because, I mean, sometimes when you look a mess during the lip sync, RuPaul will send your ass home. Like, Honey Davenport jumping off the stage looking like a hot mess. Okay, girl, go home. Like, we appreciate the passion, but you look a mess. And there were definitely moments of that. So,
well, yeah, no, totally. There was a point where we thought the lip sync was going to end, and then it continued.
It was
awkward. I feel like that second part didn't need to happen. It was like bad for both of them. Very awkward.
Part was like, you could tell both of them were like, oh, this is still going. Okay, I'm gonna.
Oh, we gotta get back into things. Yeah, exactly. I don't know. It's tough, and like you guys are saying, it's subjective, right? And you know, you can really make an argument either way. So
yeah.
We'll see. All right. Well, next week we're going to be doing the dancing documentary about disco. Aman seems pretty pumped for that. So I think that's going to be a great time to be had by all. I'm really curious to see what it's going to look like, because I don't think we've had anything like this before.
Yeah, no.
I don't think so either. Yeah, I'm really, really excited.
Okay.
So were y'all Team Candy or Team Tamisha as far as Untucked is concerned?
I think I was ultimately Team Tamisha here, just because the hypocrisy of Candy like really bothered me, especially even though it was, it's edited together, but it's still in the same sort of untucked session of you telling Elliot that and like, fine, you can have that criticism of like saying that you're not self-aware, but then to be so defensive about being called arrogant and to be arrogant about the whole situation was just like, okay, but what?
Yeah.
I feel like I was team both of them. And here's the reason. I literally am a certified conflict mediator, and both of them just were wrong in times, and both of them were right at times. And like, Tamisha just continued to poke at Candy, and there's no way you're going to get through to Candy in that moment. She's angry, and you can't talk to an angry person. You have to wait for her to cool down. And Candy even says, I need to get up and leave. And Tamisha follows her and continues to instigate. And I think that ultimately, like, you lose points in my book for doing that, even though it was so entertaining. And I loved it but there is a part of me that I'm like, you don't win in that situation.
If you want to genuinely resolve the conflict, that's not what you do. If you want to make great TV, that's what you do.
That's what you do. And that's exactly it. That's why I was like, I love
both of them. Really.
I love Tamisha's responses. I do think that Candy was just being really sensitive there, because what Tamisha was trying to say was, look, clearly there's issues here, but I think you girls who were safe deserve to be safe and did really well in this challenge. And Candy turned that right around and be like, what do you mean you're like girls or whatever? And like, she's the one that really instigated it being much worse than it really was. But we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. We shall see. Okie dokie. We're going to talk about Drag Race UK, obviously. But before we jump into that, first, I want to thank everybody that left star ratings and reviews for us on iTunes. We seriously really appreciate it. We see you, especially with our little copyright issue with our video. So apparently Viacom did not like the videos of the runway, which even though we've been doing that previously, apparently now they are really cracking down on that. So I think we're probably going to go to images. I mean, with 3 looks per queen this week, obviously we had to do the images, but most likely you'll be seeing that in the future. But Look, it's Evan left us a review. The bad boys of Drag Race recaps. That's right. And I like to think it's because of our copyright issues. So look at us. We're going. Seriously, thank you everybody who left ratings and reviews. If you'd like to leave us a review, you can go to robhasawebsite.com/drag race. That is robhasawebsite.com/drag race. We really appreciate all of the feedback. Let us jump in. Let us jump across the pond to talk about a Drag Race UK. The Maxi challenge this week was really interesting. So we had a pair challenge of a who wore it best, which I almost wish they had done the magazine like side by side who wore it best kind of thing.
I thought that's what they were going to do.
I thought that's what they were going to do too, but I love the concept. And I think let's jump right on into it. Beth, you were talking about, look, we had sort of this similar conundrum with the whole challenge lip sync, who wins, who did better. What did you think about this?
So in terms of who was in the bottom, who was in the top, we had an interesting bottom. We had somebody who tried to really go outside of their comfort zone at RuPaul's encouragement. And as we know, that can be a famous last word in a competition, is to go outside your comfort zone in a way that you're not used to. But I really applaud the judges for making Ginger safe in this situation. Because this wasn't just try this out for an artistic reason. This was try this out because you are struggling with your identity and self-love. And it would be interesting if you added this as a way to empower yourself. And I really appreciated that. That's something we don't really see from the judges. Normally it's, we don't like that you're wearing gray wigs all the time, wear a black one. That does nothing for somebody's self-worth. This was about Ginger Lemon's self-worth. Is it Ginger Lemon? Am I saying that correctly? What's her name?
Ginny.
I keep saying Ginger.
Ginny Lemon.
Ginny Lemon. My apologies. Ginny Lemon's self-worth. And we had a really wonderful conversation about Ginny being non-binary and Bimini. Is that Bimini
Boulash?
And I just love that we had 2 really good episodes where we're talking about really important identity issues. This time we were talking about non-binary identities. And I love how open Ginny was in this situation and how they were basically saying, I really don't know what my gender is. And I don't really love myself because my entire life I've been told I don't fit. I'm ugly in more ways than one. And when RuPaul says, have you ever thought about being sexy? It's not because RuPaul wants to only see sexy drag queens. It's because RuPaul's trying to say, when you make yourself look sexy or try to fit that regard, it does something to yourself where you kind of, I'm worth something. When you dress for you and not for RuPaul, which I do think that's a fine line. I do think in this situation, Ginny was doing it more for the challenge for RuPaul, but there's an added benefit there. So I do want to just throw that out there, that I really appreciated that the judges were ultimately made Ginny safe. Now, that said, we ended up with a bottom 2 where you had Tia Coffee, who had kind of a hodgepodge outfit. I don't think I was as down on it as the judges were. At the end of the day, I was like, actually, this looks better than some of what the girls on US Drag Race put together in their bags. And Asina's, who they said looked like a figure skater and the shoulders were too broad. I just don't think the judges understood the reference of anime, that's been shown many times with Rock'em Sakura. Oh my God, I cannot talk today with these queens' names. But we have seen this in the past that they just don't understand current references as well when it comes to
I think a little bit of it though is like, well, then you need to paint your face a different way. Like the makeup, the mug didn't match.
And I just think, and there were some things that she should have done too. Like she said she was going to make these big shoulders that would have like shoulder puffs, and she didn't do that. So I understand that the criticism. So we see Estina, who has won a RuPeter badge, as well as Tia Kofi, go into the bottom 2, and they lip sync. And you have someone pulling out all the tricks, and you have someone who's doing more of the comedy and doing some tricks here. And people love Tia Kofi. They kind of see her as like the fun personality of the season. Yet they were upset that Estina went home. So I just think that this is another situation where like the lip sync is just tragic. I also think in this situation, there's only a couple queens of color and 2 of them are in the bottom, and one of them gets home. That's never, that never shines a good light on the show, in my opinion. But I don't know. There's just so many things.
Look, I didn't think Estina's look was that bad.
I agree.
It was
well constructed. It was just basic.
Yeah, I didn't think Tia's look was that bad. I don't think I necessarily saw Ru trying to get. I'm okay. Let me restate. I'm ultimately happy that what came out of Ginny's experience was something more positive. However, my initial impression of Ru being like, "Hey, but like you're not sexy and you have to be sexy," was very dismissive of the other type of art that Ginny brings to drag. And that made me really frustrated. Now, if it ultimately helps with self-love, because to hear Ginny talk about, I haven't found peace in my own body. Like, we survived, we didn't live. Those types of quotes are just so impactful and just make my heart go out for her. And she's still finding who she is. And so if this experience helps in that way, then I'm okay with it. But my initial impression was not as positive, because I was like, oh, Ru doesn't recognize other forms of drag. Like, F you. I don't like this.
We've been new with that situation.
Well, yeah, and that's the thing too, is I had that preconceived notion, knowing that Ru doesn't appreciate other types of art when it comes to drag. And so it's like, anyway, I was really sad that Estina went home, but I love Tia. I respond so well to her, because I said this last week. She just seems like such a smart queen. Her description of her outfit of, I have constructed a garment that is on my body. It is made of adequate materials. That type of humor is just my favorite. And so I was personally rooting for her, because I'm invested in Tia Kofi as a queen. Now, I do think that there's things, the shake and go wigs, all of that stuff that's a little rough around the edges. But as a person, I just respond super, super well to her. But I can at the same time see the flaws. So I understand why people are upset, because Estina is just stunning.
I need to contextualize what I said a little bit more, which is, I agree with you. I do think that RuPaul's initial thing was more out of self-serving nature, but I do think it also sparked something in Ginny. And RuPaul is not just the host. He's the executive producer. He knows everything that's happening in that room. He might pretend like he doesn't when he's judging. And you better believe what I think happened was that the producers, the scene directors, all of them said, this is what's going on with Ginny. And some of this was sparked by what you encouraged her to do. So I think that there's a level of care that happened behind the scenes going into the judging, which is to say, if you were just to go, Ginny, you go home now. You tried something, it didn't work after all of this revelation, all this other stuff. That's damaging, not just to Ginny, but to all people who struggle with what is their gender identity. So that's what I mean more so by, I'm happy that the editors and the producers did it that way. Now, that said, I do think she had the sloppiest outfit. I don't think it looked good. It was a tube. It didn't look good. It was a weird material for it. And I appreciate the effort that she put into it, but that's what I mean by that.
I see that. I see that for sure.
Well, okay. I just resubscribed Wow Presents Plus. I was waiting and being cheap, catching all of the bootleg versions of this. I wasn't able to catch up on episode 3 quite yet, but now that I'm a productive member of the Wow Presents community and society, I will be well equipped to recap episode 4 really quickly, but we're running over anyway, so it's probably best that I didn't have much to say.
Exactly. Yeah, this is running a little long. Of course, we had a fabulous guest, always makes things go a little bit longer, but you get a little bit of extra fabulous in your podcast. Okay, I think that does it for us today here, talking about Drag Race in the US and in the UK. thank you, Aman, for being here. What are you up to? Where can people find you on social media?
You can find me on Twitter at Aman Adwin. You can also find me on Twitch at Aman Adwin. I'm getting into the streaming game as well. You can also look for me on, we were talking about Bryce earlier. I got asked to be back on Bryce's podcast. We're doing a little pop culture segment every 2 weeks on Bryce's podcast. So that should be coming out this week as well. So be on the lookout for that. And yeah, I still got my my Glee podcast with Matt. That's still chugging along. And yeah, so come check me out. I got lots of stuff going on.
Yay, perfect. And Beth, thank you, of course. Beth, where can people find you? What are you up to?
You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at Augusta. Oh my God, I could not say TikTok for a second. I really struggled with that. At AugustaWind11, as well as at twitch.tv/AugustaWind11. Been doing a lot of Animal Crossing. Yesterday, I did 2 villager hunts after spending an hour and 40 minutes of my stream trying to kick another villager. But we got 2 dreamies yesterday. Is a good time. And also obviously podcasting about the challenge on my weekly meltdown, which you can catch on my Twitch as well.
Fabulous. And you can find me on social media on Twitter at Liana RHAP. Just chugging along. Puya and I podcasted about The Masked Dancer. If you missed that, I was also on RHAP recently to do the Hot Takeoff Tournament 2. And we'll be back at some point to do The Masked Singer when things start to pick up for that as well. I've also gotten a little bit into the Twitch streaming game, but just so cash, honestly, tagging along with everybody else because I'm a lazy bitch and I just want to hang out with other people.
I want to play Fall Guys with you guys so bad.
Yes, come play with us. Can you play?
I can't because I don't have it. I have it on PS4, not PC. I need to get a PC first.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
You know, you can stream directly from your PS4 though, right?
I know, but the way that Fall Guys is set up, like, I can't.
Cross-platform.
Yeah.
Okay.
Listen, I'll play with you because I also have it on PS4 and PC. So if you have
we could do it. We can get into it then.
So fun. So silly, so stupid, so fun. And so for that, if you want to check out my Twitch channel, I am at Lianaism because again, I'm a stealing hoe. So I'm just gonna go ahead and borrow that from Puya. So all right. And if you love everything RHAP, especially all of the things that we do here over on the Drag Race RHAPup, you can support all of that by becoming a patron of Rob Has a Podcast. Check out patreon.com/RHAP or robhasawebsite.com/Patreon to support all of this. Again, leave your star ratings and reviews on iTunes. That is robhasawebsite.com/Drag Race. Shout out to Scott St. Pierre behind the scenes for all of his fabulous work, and we will talk to y'all soon. Bye.